Lesson 5 is maybe the most difficult lesson. We're going to choose letters and that don't follow any of the rules we've set just yet. So this is going to be, hopefully, interesting. I'm going to begin with the S. So the thing about the S, since we're going to finish off the top and the bottom, I am going to, I'm going to come down to this point, and the lowercase s, I am going to make my first mark from the top. Let's come across two lines, or two of these spaces. So at first, with my marker at 45 degrees, I'll come this way, create a nice S curve back like that. So notice that I brought the bottom ahead of the top, and that's because now I use these two strokes, this stroke for the top, this stroke for the bottom. So once again, we can put it into, I actually do a little bit more than those two spaces. Whoops. Not bad. In some ways I even like it a little bit better with the larger bottom. I might try that again, see if I like it. And what I meant was the larger space down here. I missed. I didn't do it. Once again, these are good ones for you to start rehearsing over and over until you feel that you're getting some sort of consistency. I'm going to go to the X now. Now the X, we're actually going to come across three spaces. So we will begin up here. I'm going to end down here, and I'm going to do it something like this. I come up and across, and then give it a small swoop at the bottom. Now as I come across this way, I'm going to come from this upper part, slight upward down to the bottom. Don't like it. Let's try again. I don't think I was at a proper angle there. I should have had a much thinner line here, so I'm going to concentrate on keeping this at 45 degrees. I'm coming up, and so I have a nice thick line going through the middle. Now, that seems much nicer than the first one. We have to concentrate on the angle of our pen. This just looks so much nicer when we have the nice thin lines in some areas. I'm actually, you notice I'm pushing, instead of doing this line in 3 strokes, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it in just a single stroke. It's simpler with felt tip than with other kinds of pens. All right, now I'm going to come down here and start the Z. The Z also, I am going to go across 3 strokes. Now remember the stroke that we learned for our T, which was this small one. We're simply going to lengthen that to 3 lines now. So I come up and swoop. That's a really fun mark. I'm going to come across to the bottom here and then do the same mark, or very similar. So let's keep our first mark within this line, but three of these squares wide. I'm bringing at a 45 down to this, so I'm getting a nice thin line coming across here, and that beautiful stroke that goes in a couple of different directions. It's so nice because it goes from thin to thick to thin again. It's just such a beautiful stroke. Now finally, the F is going to be a very strange one for us. This one is going to break a few rules. Remember that this is the space between these marks where we normally put our letters. What I'm going to do with the F is I'm going to come slightly above this, and I'm coming down. So this is actually the tallest letter that we do. I'm going to start from this angle, keeping 45 degrees, and I'm coming down all the way to here. Now what if I did this stroke with that? This may be enough. In fact, I like this style of F. So once again, I'm starting about halfway up, kind of like what we did with the T. The T is the only other letter which we come about halfway up into this space. So once again, 45s, I bring it down all the way and a slight turn at the end, and I do that beautiful stroke, which once again is beginning up and then down and up again. Practice those Fs. Remember to move your entire hand when you make these strokes. Remember that you're not working with just your wrist. We're moving our entire hand. So I don't want to see this. Things get really bad. Notice that when I turn it that much, I'm no longer at a 45-degree angle. So in order to keep this at a 45, we have to move our entire hand when we work.